Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only weather forecast for the next 7 days ahead and your 7-day rainfall map. We kick off with the satellite, radar and lightning map, and a lot of the energy up in the tropics at the moment. The main focus obviously near Darwin with the tropical depression. Now the Bureau of Meteorology has increased their risk of this becoming a tropical cyclone from moderate yesterday to high today. Now we don't use the Bureau of Meteorology in our day-to-day forecasting here, but when there is severe weather like that, we try and align with them as much as we can so that we're all on the same page, and basically we are. We're sort of seeing the same things that they are. So I'm going to show you a couple of animations later on about the potential cyclone up here near the Northern Territory and potentially the Kimberley as well. But for now, we've got thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms around parts of Western Australia. There is low pressure over 2/3 of Western Australia at the moment, sinking right down. The nearest high pressure zone, right down here in the bottom southwest. Now that high, while it's a long way offshore, is spreading a ridge into South Australia, southern parts of the Northern Territory, and around Queensland and New South Wales. So while there might be a bit of cloud here and there, dry skies at the moment. Now as you go further southwards, that's where you run into the windy weather that's still blowing around Tassie, Bass Strait, coastal Victoria, maybe some coastal parts of South Australia as well, as the low pressure systems track south and interact with that slightly higher pressure moving inland further to the north. So no great changes just yet for those of you in the south. Let's have a look at the 3-hour rainfall. We don't usually show you this one, but this kind of gives you an idea as to where the bulk of the rain energy is as we go through the later part of today. So again, you can see those thunderstorms around Western Australia. We've got the low pressure zone here northwest of Darwin, and we've got some showers and thunderstorms in the far north of Queensland, but really many other places not seeing anywhere near as much wet weather or windy weather. But as you go southwards, you can see those showers being caught up on the west coast of Tassie and around Bass Strait as well, where it is windier with a few passing showers today. But high pressure leaving New South Wales and still south of Western Australia, which means there's a lot of low pressure dominating the map, even though there's no L over the central parts. We put the L up when it's actually spinning all the way around. Spinning, got to make sure I do it the right way for you when you're looking at it clockwise. And so that is the low that we're monitoring really closely over the days ahead. So as we go to Wednesday, there is the low offshore. So it doesn't pose a serious threat. It's just a low that's offshore, and it produces some rain and thunderstorms up there. Still more rain, showers, thunderstorms, heavy downpours in the far north of Queensland and a couple of other coastal showers. They don't appear to be very much. Mostly dry as you go further into, certainly dry in the southern part of Queensland, dry right across New South Wales, and mostly dry in the ACT, although there could be a shower that bubbles up somewhere around the hills. But really the main feature here, well, there are two main features on Wednesday. The polar boundary coming into Tasmania with a wintry southerly due to the high that's south of Western Australia. That high dredging up that southerly change. Southerlies all the way from Port Lincoln right over to about Melbourne. That is that change sweeping through. It may not arrive till nighttime for some of you. And the other main area of energy, the low pressure zone through central Western Australia that is pushing wet weather, thunderstorms, showers, maybe some severe thunderstorms in there further southwards. And of course, low pressure near high pressure makes for a squash zone, and that's what we have here. The windy easterlies blowing through southern and southwestern parts of Western Australia. So it's a bit of a busy map there going into Wednesday and Thursday as well, because the polar boundary, it flirts with Victoria's, which means if you're living in Geelong and if you're living in Melbourne and if you're living in any of the main centres along the southern coastline, you're likely to feel the temperatures down. Now it may not be as much as Tassie with that polar line right over the top of you, more wintry airflows coming in, dropping your temperatures. Most of the wet weather is still on the west coast, but as you go further up into Victoria, and especially going into New South Wales and the southern part here of Queensland, these isolated showers are more than likely going to be thunderstorms. Possibly severe, not looking so likely to be severe. Possible though. If you're in the coast further north of Newcastle and north of Brisbane, mainly dry. So there's sort of hit and miss showers around, but not necessarily widespread for you. A bit more widespread on Friday as the high that was south of Western Australia now moves over the top of Tasmania. So I've got some good news, Tasmania. Got a few bits of good news. Lighter winds for you. Your temperatures go up. and it's not looking stormy for you. So there's some positive news for you. High pressure parked either side of you. When it's like that, you can get a couple of showers in between, but overall, drier, calmer, slightly warmer for you. Bass Strait also looks quite calm, but as you go into Victoria and you get close to the mountains, now you've got a windy setup between high pressure here over Tasmania and Bass Strait and low pressure, which is sinking down into the border here of Queensland and New South Wales. So that puts a squash zone in there, made windier when it goes over the Great Dividing Range. So we might be seeing gale force gusts here and there, mostly through the mountains and around the ranges, and those winds fade out once you go into Queensland. Mostly dry for the Northern Territory. Our offshore storm, or low, is still there. Still doesn't really pose a significant threat, but it will be around Friday, Saturday that it maybe does so. So we'll show you those animations in a moment. Then we've got the low pressure zone here from Western Australia moving into South Australia. Still windy around that system and isolated thunderstorms as well, mostly on the southern coastline there for you. And we go to Saturday. That low over South Australia producing instability. So you'll have some showers and thunderstorms as we go through the day. Note the red line, the tropical boundary, dragged right down. So you'll feel the temperatures going up on Saturday. Even if it's cloudy with showers like around Adelaide there, it's going to be warm to hot with that humidity also around. But then, as I mentioned yesterday, over in the southwest corner of Western Australia, that's the polar boundary. It is offshore by quite a distance. But the southerly flow will be noticed, and you'll find that it's not as hot for those main centres in the southwest. And in fact, even along the coastline, right up to the Midwest, outside of that tropical boundary. And we've still got the windy weather over here, showers, thunderstorms in the southeast of Queensland and the northeast of New South Wales, with that windy northerly going right down into Victoria. By Sunday, not a great deal of change over in the east. You've still got those showers, those thunderstorms, potentially some severe thunderstorms around the northern rivers. That's worth monitoring, and you might get some of that spilling over into parts of Queensland. It's a fairly hot day. You look at the red tropical boundary coming right down. So most of South Australia has that. And now we're seeing more of New South Wales getting it as well. And even if you're not under that line, you've got a northerly wind. So it's not going to be very cold for most of you. Windiest weather between the ACT and Victoria, and some of that northerly flow comes into Tassie with some northern showers as well. Then we've got the storm off here to the northwest, potentially close to Darwin again. I know it doesn't look like much because when you zoom out, if it's a weak, low-level storm like a Category 1 cyclone or even just shy of that, it doesn't look like much when you're zoomed out. You have to zoom in. So I'm going to do that in a moment. But here is Monday's map showing a potential storm there north of the Kimberley, coming into the Kimberley. And all the blue dots you see, or blue areas around the southern part of the Northern Territory, scattered through both Queensland and New South Wales, and also parts of South Australia. Those are isolated showers and thunderstorms that are going to bubble up. May not be a major outbreak, but they could be around, and we've got some low pressure in the southeast corner here. That's why we're seeing rain around for you. So let's take a quick look at the two different modelings that we tend to trust the most. Here is the American one, so I'll click play now. This is from today, Tuesday, to next Tuesday, and you see here as we go to the end of the week, that's when we might be seeing a tropical cyclone, but it really falls apart. The areas in the purple, the darker shading, that's where we're likely to be getting those gusts that will make it officially a tropical cyclone. So that's the American modelling. It looks pretty broken up. Now the European modelling, same starting point, just north of Darwin on today, Tuesday. Now I'm going to animate the 7 days. The European modelling has a better chance of this turning into a tropical cyclone offshore and then kind of falling apart for a time as it passes by Darwin. So I think from those two models, it's safe to say that there is the chance of a tropical cyclone over the next week, but whether or not it's going to pose a serious threat to Darwin or just bring in some rain and a little bit of wind, that's the part we can't lock in yet. We need a few more days to do so. Before I go, here is the next 7 days rainfall, so I'll animate it now. Again, this is going from today through to next Tuesday. You can see the offshore storm here producing very heavy rain in the blue that goes off the key here. So there could be 400 or 500 millimetres of rain, but that is just off the coast of Darwin based on the current modelling. But it won't take much for it to move eastwards and change everything. So it is going to be a forecast that flip-flops a wee bit over the coming days. Many other areas not seeing much in the way of rainfall, but you do see in the northeastern corner of New South Wales and the southeastern corner of Queensland a chance of some wet weather and a little bit brushing parts of Victoria. And then of course those thunderstorms and showers in the southern half of Western Australia. So quite a few moving parts. Spring's still alive in the south, and now the cyclone season looks like it's starting to wake up in the north. So we'll be monitoring that very closely with our updates coming up across this week. And speaking of that, I'll see you again tomorrow. Our next update for Australia tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll catch you then.